As we said before, the Unite the Right rally was billed as a protest against the removal of a Robert E. Lee statue.
In several southern states, leaders are demanding these monuments to the Confederacy be taken down. Statues, fountains, and flags have already been removed in South Carolina and Louisiana, inciting protests and counter-protests that mostly remained peaceful. These monuments mean different things to different groups of people. So are they an homage to states' rights or racism and slavery? News Center's Bill Green joins us now with Dr. Tom Desjardins, a historian who has extensively studied and written about the Civil War and its symbols. Bill?
Well, I'll take it from right there, Jess. What do we think when people are looking for a symbol? Is it appropriate to go back to the American Civil War and Robert E. Lee, for example?
Well, you have to, Bill. And I think what's interesting about this is that it talks about how really unique our history is as a country. 16 years ago, we put to death Timothy McVeigh for blowing up a federal institution in Oklahoma City. 161 years ago, a fellow named Pierre-Gustave Beauregard led a group of people who helped to blow up a federal institution in Charleston Harbor, igniting the Civil War. Today, there is an active military installation named for him. So this nature of our Confederate history and our national history are intertwined. And frankly, it surprises me it's taken so long for this issue to come up.
Why do we still have these Confederate symbols, such as Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Fort Hood, Texas, just to name two easy ones?
Yeah, usually the losers don't get to put up monuments to their people.
Why is that
but
happening?
In this case, the country, for many, many years, the South in particular, voted as a solid block. From the election of 1880 on, for 13 consecutive elections and then beyond, voted entirely as a unit for electorally. And so, in order to get anything done in Washington or as a president or a member of Congress, you needed the South. And in order to do that, they sort of looked the other way, let bygones be bygones about slavery and the war, and focused on other things.
The definition of the lost cause, which is a glorified version of the Southern perspective that slavery was a benign thing to be doing to a race of people that couldn't help themselves and things. Lee is the supreme example of the lost cause. Therefore, you think appropriate, perhaps, that he be moved outside of town or something?
It is, and I think it's a local decision, but when you start seeing deep southern towns like New Orleans and Richmond and other towns like that really have a serious discussion about this and act on it, you know that there's a bigger national conversation taking place.
So it's an interesting thing to look back into our history and see what these symbols, what meant. Oh, we got to ask about the Confederate flag. Tell us the difference between the Confederate flag and the stars and bars. Now, with this white field,
right,
that being part of the flag, this is the flag of the Confederate States.
Well, the flag of the Confederate States is actually totally different, with a circle of stars and 3 bars called the Stars and Bars. This was a military flag.
Right.
It was used in battle. They thought it looked too much like they were surrendering, so they cut out the white part and left just this. But this symbol, or the rectangular one you see used at these rallies, was never an official symbol of the Confederate States of America, but it was used heavily by the soldiers and the armies.
Interesting that we grab onto the battle flag now to have this. I think I'm out of time, and so with that discussion, I will throw it back to Amanda.